Hello everyone, welcome back for another edition of Virtual Teen Yoga. I'm your instructor Mike. I'm happy to have you with me this evening. What I wanted to do for tonight's practice is a specialty practice, yoga for preparation of exams. I don't know about you all, but I remember when I was a teenager, exams, tests, even still today, they cause me a lot of stress. Going back to school it's always a challenge for you, but just being a student in general is going to be a challenge mentally for you. Some people really struggle with severe anxiety, test anxiety, and there's not really much that we have to offer in relief of this. But what I like to do is I like to do a little bit of yoga mixed with a little bit of meditation, some things that are just more about being mindful of yourself, mindful of your inner emotions, and being able to sense when that anxiety is starting to happen. So when it does happen, you can stop it as best as you can. One of the best ways to stop anxiety attacks is to prevent them from happening in the first place. So we'll do a little bit of yoga, again, help us loosen things up, kind of just get ourselves in the mindset of it, and then we'll do a little bit of a guided meditation. And it's something that I want you to think about, not just in this practice, but in the context of when you're taking these exams or these tests or quizzes or whenever you feel like you're starting to get a little bit stressed from being overwhelmed in school. And so we'll start it off in a comfortable position. If you have your yoga mat, go ahead and roll it out, lay on it. If you don't have a yoga mat, blanket is always fine. Just lay on your carpet, that's fine too. If it's clean, you might want to have like a yoga block or something like that. We probably won't use it too much in this practice, but I just want to make it known you might need it. You never know. Any kind of prop that you feel is necessary for you, just go ahead and grab it. Pause this video, go ahead and grab it, and then come back once you are ready. But when you're ready, you're going to close your eyes. In your comfortable position, whether that's laying on the ground or sitting upright, so wherever you're comfortable, go there and then close your eyes. There's nothing really to see at this point, just more to feel and pay attention to it. And I want you to start paying attention to your breath by breathing low in your belly, low in your diaphragm. This is something we're going to heavily practice today, not just right now, but throughout the practice, and especially during the meditation. And I'll explain why when we get there. But let's just go ahead and start becoming aware of the breath. Some deep inhales, you'll feel the stomach expand. Some deep exhales, you'll feel the stomach contract. And again, let's just do this for a moment. Just get ourselves into the rhythm of this. When you're ready, you can go ahead and open your eyes. And we'll start our practice off just loosening up the hips and spine, just to get us, again, into the groove of things. You're going to lay on your back, bring your knees up to the chest. I just want you to rock up and down on your spine a little bit, side to side. Feel free to even make circles, going both ways, obviously, on that. Just taking a moment just to loosen some things up here for you. So we're going to do a couple of things. We're going to do a really short twist to each side. We'll do a forward bend and a back bend, and then we're going to do a meditation. Again, something that's more of like a visual kind of meditation to help ease anxiety when you are taking these exams. So again, our first pose that we're going to do is a twist pose. Reclining twist will be the first one. So you're going to lay on your back. Let's go to the same page. We'll lay on our backs and we'll twist left. So you're laying down, legs to the left, just lay them on the floor. This right here is the pose. And the intention of a twist is to stretch the side of your body. If you're twisting left, it's lower right side of the back, outside of the right leg, sometimes in your glutes, right? Just essentially the right side of the body. It's going to be the target area here. If you feel like you need a block or like a pillow or something, this is where it might come into play. You can put a block in between your knees, or you can put it under your bottom leg, or both. If you just feel like you're going too far, definitely just use a block. Make it a little bit more comfortable for you. We're going to hang out here just to feel the side body.
stretch. And again, just for like a minute or two, I just want to get us into more of an energetic balance point. And twisting is believed to help with balancing of energies. I don't know if you're really familiar with the esoteric side of yoga, which is more of the spiritual side, the energetic side. They believe that energy runs throughout our bodies. They call it the meridians, these energetic channels. And they say if there's ever blockages or anything that's disrupting the flow of it, it causes physical ailments or even emotional ailments. So twisting is believed to help kind of like wring that out and unwind things to loosen up the channels again. But all of these stretches really are targeted for that. But this is a great balancing pose. When you're ready, just real slow, unwind from your twist. And we're not staying here for as long as we normally do. So just go ahead and lay back, take a moment. And when you're ready, we will go to the other side. So if you're on the same page as me, you're laying down, knees up to the chest, take the legs over to the right and lay them on the floor, right? This is your pose now. And when you're going right, it's lower left side of the back, outside of your left leg, sometimes your glutes, right? So essentially left side of the body is going to be the target area here. If you feel like you need a block, put it in between your knees or under the bottom leg, or even both if you have two of them, or a pillow or a blanket, those will work just as well. Just whatever makes it more comfortable for you so that you can relax. And I really want you to just let everything go. Let all the muscles soften as best as you can. And a lot of times, muscles flexing can be the beginning stages of an anxiety attack or any kind of emotional triggering response. It's going to be muscles start to tense. And a lot of that also starts to reflect into your breath. And I'm gonna repeat this later on, but your breath and your current emotion are intimately linked with each other. So when the breath is out of control, the mind is out of control. But vice versa as well. If the breath is in control, the mind is also in control. So again, we'll reiterate more on that later. When you're ready, it's your time. Just real slow, unwind from this. Take that time on out, knees to chest, or just lay down. You can have your feet on the floor with the knees bent, or you could just straighten yourself out all the way. Just take a moment. We're going to do two more poses. We're going to do a forward bend, and then we'll do a back bend, and then we're going to get into a little bit of visualized meditation. But let's go ahead and start with the forward bend first. Butterfly is always acceptable, where you have the soles of the feet brought together in front of you. You fall in round in the pose. You stretch your inner thighs. You stretch your back as well. Just be mindful of if your knees start hurting, any outside or inside of the knee pain, or even the hip, outside, inside, or backside of the hip. Definitely be mindful of that. You're probably going to want to just do something else entirely. Dragonfly pose is always fair game here. Spreading out the legs and leaning forward for the inner thighs and for the back. You also get the hamstrings here too. It feels really nice for me, so I'm just going to hang out here today. Every day we do a practice, it's going to be a little bit different, right? There are just some days where certain poses will work for you, and some days where they won't. Today, this is the one that's really working for me. But again, breathe into it. Just let gravity do most of the work. This is a great preparation for letting things go. That's something, that's a kind of philosophy I would really, really love to emphasize is letting things go. They actually call it practicing non-attachment. And that doesn't mean that you don't care about things. Non-attachment means you appreciate what it is, but you can let it go at will. And this is something that's so important for us because nothing is permanent, right? And so, like, for example, when we're in school, those exams we take, it's not permanent and it's not a direct reflection of you in itself. Because again, sometimes people just really get that test anxiety and it lets that anxiety get the best of them. That doesn't really reflect your work ethic at all, does it? So being able to let go of the results of everything is so critical here. And again, I don't mean that you don't care about the results. You appreciate the effort, right? You really appreciate the effort, but you're okay with the reality of success or failure. And actually, that's a quote from, they call it the Bhagavad Gita, which is essentially the Bible for yoga. And the text goes like this. Abandoning attachment to success or failure, such evenness of mind is called yoga. Right? So being able to abandon the results of success and failure, which it's easier said than done, but it is something that they practice heavily, being able to let things go through non-attachment. When you're ready, though, there's your time. Just use your hands, right? Slowly push yourself out. Lean back and lay down. Take your time on out. With a short breather. We'll do our back bend, and then we'll get into a little bit of meditation. The next and last of our yin postures, a back bend. This is called Sphinx pose. You lay on your stomach, you prop up onto your forearms and your elbows, and this is it. There's not a stretch or anything like that. It should just be dull and gentle pressure in your lower back. And the reason why I'm suggesting this is because it helps us sit upright. If we're going to do any amount of meditation, or if we're just going to sit in general, making sure that our back is stable is really important for us. A lot of people will end up having back issues at some point. And considering, especially when you're in school, you're sitting for 8+ hours a day. So sitting like that does a number to your spine. So we have to make sure that we can take care of that. And just breathe. Again, letting everything go. When you're ready, just go ahead and lower down. Lay on your stomach. Take your time. Again, it was a really short bend. It wasn't meant to be a deep posture. Just enough for preparation. When you're ready, you can go ahead and make your way for a comfortable seated position. And we're going to enter into our meditation, but I want to give some tips and advice before we get in there. The breath, again, can't emphasize this enough, is so important for us because it helps us distinguish between are we calm or are we anxious. Again, direct reflection of your current emotion is your breath. Belly breathing, like we've been doing in this practice, has been proven to slow down the nervous system. It slows the heart down. It slows your mind down. And when you are having an anxiety attack, what happens? Your mind starts racing. You start hyperventilating. You start breathing high up into your chest.
So we want to do the opposite, right? Breathe low in the belly, and it's going to keep you in a calm state. And if there's anything that you learn from this practice today, I hope it is how to breathe, because you're going to do this forever, right? But this is also just a great state to be in, keeping yourself calm, keeping the heart rate down, keeping the blood pressure low, right? And that starts with the breath and breathing low in your belly. But some other things that you want to practice as well, positive affirmations, just reciting these words in your mind of positivity. The one that I often go to whenever I am taking an exam, because again, I'm in college too. Whenever I take an exam and I start feeling like I'm getting worked up, first I'll start with the breath, and then I'll say to myself mentally, you know the material. I know the material. And through that, it starts to calm me down. Again, it gets me back into the groove of, okay, now I'm back into the test, and I'm okay. But there's another step to this as well. Before you're taking the test, when you're studying the material, there are 3 stages to really bring this into a completion and to recognizing and understanding the knowledge behind it. First, it starts off just by reading the material or listening to the material, however you're absorbing it. Bring it in first, right? Read it first, digest it. Then mentally start repeating these phrases. Whatever you're reading, start mentally repeating it. And then after the mental stage, start to physically repeat it. Literally, read it out loud, say it out loud, whatever it is. You've just completed 3 stages of knowledge. It starts with thought, and then it turns into word, right? That's your thoughts, and then it turns into action, the physical side of it, right? So you'll begin first by digesting it, reading it, absorbing it, then mentally chanting it again in your mind, then saying it out loud. Now, obviously, when you're taking an exam, you can't say things out loud like that. But when you're in the actual exam itself, you start reading these questions, and then you'll realize to yourself, okay, I know the material. I've read this. I've said this multiple times. And a lot of times I'll say it until I can almost repeat it without even looking at the material. So that might help for you. It's something, again, I always do whenever I'm taking any kind of test or exam. And trust me, these little bits and tricks here can really help you out. So let's go ahead and we'll just kind of get into our short meditation here. Sitting back and closing the eyes. Nice posture, right? We want to keep ourselves upright here. Start by feeling the breath, right? Breathing low in the belly, low in the diaphragm. Let's just do this for a moment. Now that we've calmed ourselves down with our breath, we know intuitively what it feels like to be in a relaxed state. When you come out of the relaxed state in anxiety, the moment you catch it, let it go. Let the anxiety go. Let those racing thoughts go. Come back to your breath, to come back into this relaxed state. And remember those 3 stages of grasping knowledge. Read the material, digest it, think about it, read it out loud. Go through those 3 steps again. Digest it, mentally think about it, and then say it out loud. Finally, our positive affirmations. The words of, I know the material, repeating that mentally as well. And aside from other things, like I know the material, I'm okay is a great one to mentally chant. I am okay. I am calm. And when you say these things, you begin to embody them. You become calm. You become okay. It starts with the mind. It works into word, and then it turns into action. Stay in your meditation as long as you like, but that is officially all that I have for you. I want to thank you for watching and sharing your practice with me. It has been my pleasure. Namaste.